Starbucks. That is the theme here. So let's find out exactly what that means with Chairman and CEO Brian Niccol, who came from Chipotle. I have to tell you, the last time we spoke, we were talking about burrito bowls.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And I still love burritos, but now I really love espresso.
Now you really love espresso. Tell
Yeah.
me about this event and what does back to Starbucks mean for you?
Yeah, look, back to Starbucks is really a simple idea of reclaiming the third place and reclaiming the soul of the brand. And the soul of the brand has always been centered on community and the humanity of connecting between a barista and a customer. And that's what we're getting back to doing.
Can you define the third place? I know what it is,
Yeah.
but people out there.
Well, funny enough, I actually asked ChatGPT, and it came back and said it's actually a place where people want to connect, and it's needed more than ever. Despite everybody saying they're more connected through digital platforms or social media, they actually say they're more lonely than they've ever been, even in their own community. And so I think it's paramount that Starbucks gets back to recreating those places where communities come together, people come together, and they have that connection with the barista and obviously their community.
This team building event, look, we can pan over and you can see all of the kinds of beans, and you're explaining to the 14,000 employees, which, by the way, is no small feat. You flew 14,000 people from Canada and America to this event, and this says set the vision. What is the vision you want to impart to them about the new Starbucks?
Yeah, look, first of all, it's really energizing to have everybody together. We're going to start doing some of our general sessions where we'll have the entire arena filled with folks. As I affectionately call it, you'll see and feel the green wave. And that's what's going to happen here. The idea of setting the vision is we are committed to having coffee that's unparalleled, right? And so when we set the vision that we're going to have great coffee for our customers every single time that they come in and they get that connection, that's what these coffee house leaders do every single time. And they're the ones that set the vision for their team. They set the standard for their store. And frankly, they define the experience of Starbucks. They are the brand in and of itself.
Well, they're that first line.
Absolutely.
So you want them to be very welcoming. I understand that you're going back to messages on the cup.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And part of the reason why we're getting back to doing that is it's another way to connect with your customer. Even if it's just as brief as like, thank you, you're welcome, or, have a great day, a smiley face. It doesn't take much. And, I think so much in today's world, it's like we're rushing and we act as if we're connected. But if you just take a second to pause and really have a connection with something as simple as like, have a great day, it goes such a long way.
Well, let's walk along here.
Yeah.
And I would like to just say that to that end, it feels like Starbucks has gotten a little bit like fast food, transactional and hectic. So how do you change that while still fulfilling orders in under 4 minutes? That is a big challenge.
Yeah, look, and just to hear that comment of, the idea that we've gotten transactional and just focused on convenience, that almost breaks my heart. Because the reality is, that is not what Starbucks is. If you go back even 20 years ago, our baristas were able to get people their drinks in less than 3 minutes. Okay? And really all I wanted to do with the time standard is to help us prioritize mobile orders, drive-through, and in-store cafe customers. And when you just have that time standard, it helps us organize how you sequence drinks, how you sequence the order, so people get their food and drink in a timely fashion. Doesn't take away from the craft, doesn't take away from the ability to connect, and it doesn't take away the ability to create a great third place.
But you want to have that third place where people come and stay
Absolutely.
and hang out. Okay, so let's talk about...
You know what? That's why things like
the ceramic mugs coming back.
They're coming back. Great seats coming back. Great environment, music, scent. Our partners engaging with you at your table.
Well, I have to ask kind of an analyst question.
Yeah, sure.
You want comfortable seating.
Yeah.
That means less seating.
No, not necessarily. I think we can, when you look at our stores, I think one of the things we haven't done, a great job of is making sure that we have all the types of seating that our customers want. Right? There's some customers that want the high top like us. There's some customers that want that comfy chair. So I'm not saying all the seats need to be the comfy chair. That's for the person that probably wants to read a book, have a cup of coffee. The person that wants to have a meeting, they probably want a 4-top where you got 4 seats with a table where you can put up your laptop. So we need to be able to have all these occasions in our stores so that you truly have that community experience.
When you were at Chipotle, you were known as a menu innovator.
Yeah.
Now it looks like you want to be a menu slimmer, bring it down a little bit. What does that mean for people? And I can pretty much guarantee Everybody watching right now has been in a Starbucks at some point in your life, right?
I hope so.
And a lot of them love that because they feel that they're part of Generation C, C for custom. They want to come in and have 6 different things on a single drink order.
Yeah.
What would you say to them about simplification of a menu now? Does that mean that those special orders are going away?
No, not at all. Look, the customization is always going to be a part of Starbucks. It's your drink, right? And really what our baristas want to do is they want to do their craft so they get you exactly what you want. The menu simplification exercise really was all about clearing the table so that we could do the innovative things that we want to do going forward. We're going to continue to lead and innovate. I don't know if you had the opportunity to try, but like we're sampling right now for folks, cold foam, a banana protein cold foam, a chocolate protein cold foam. It's delicious, it's innovative, and it's how people want to experience their coffee going forward. So you're going to be able to customize flavor, protein, and still get your caffeine experience that you want.
Okay, protein is a big issue here. So are you purchasing protein in bulk now? I mean, that's got to be a big headline, I would think.
Well, look, I think it's going to be a big deal because, one, it's delicious, and 2, it's very much on trend with what customers want to get out of their drink. They want more protein. We're already seeing customers do this. They'll get a couple shots of espresso over ice, and then they'll add their own protein milk or protein powder today. And I'm like, well, geez, we should be doing that for them because we could make a more delicious drink for them.
Right.
So that's what you're going to see us do.
And why send them to a smoothie place when that's
we can
a
take care of
runway?
it. Yeah, we can take care of it.
Okay, that's interesting. I think that's a headline. He's doing protein shake. Listen, I do have to ask you because the tariff issue is being discussed everywhere in every country. You source your coffee beans from some 28 different countries. What was it like for you as a new CEO of a huge company? You come in and suddenly in March, April, it's tariffs slapped on every single country with whom you do business.
Look, that's what these jobs are these days. It's always change. There's always something that you don't expect. But I think as a leader of this organization, you got to come up with a plan. And that's what we did. And I have to give a lot of credit to our team. They did a great job of understanding the implications on our supply chain, understanding the implications on where we source our coffee beans.
Well, to that end, you source everywhere, Guatemala, Costa Rica. So you're not looking at just one country's deal, their tariff deal that hopefully some of these countries are making with the United States. You're looking at a whole slew of them. So have you modeled, have you planned with your team for changing your supply chain, shifting it if one country comes through first, like Brazil?
Yeah, look, there's 5 countries that probably make up 60-70% of our green coffee that we purchase. And you can't grow green coffee in the United States. And the reality is we're going to have to source it from around the world. And obviously, the good news is at our scale, we have that flexibility to move where we think we can get the best beans at the best price for our customers. The thing that's great about our business too is once we bring the green coffee into the country, we roast everything in the United States. So once it's in, then we have the ability to distribute accordingly.
There are a lot of CEOs knocking on President Trump's door asking for exemptions. Are you one of them?
Look, we're obviously in conversations with the administration in D.C.
Are they listening?
You know what? I think they are listening. They do want to find a solution where I think we have consistency of policy so that companies like mine can plan accordingly going forward. And that's what I think is our role in this, is to provide the right information so hopefully the policy takes into account the facts, and then we can coordinate accordingly.
China is at the forefront of these tariff wars and this tension that we have seen. China is your 2nd largest market today. You started implementing this morning some price cuts on some of the drinks, about 5 yuan, which equals about 70 cents, a little bit less. Is that because the competition, I'm thinking Luckin Coffee, which has double the number of stores you have in China, they're a little bit cheaper and they're a little bit hipper in a way. That's what I hear on the ground when I'm looking at the chat groups. So how do you get Starbucks back there? Are you going to take on a Chinese partner to help with the cultural relevancy?
Well, so look, we're doing a couple things. So first, we got to look hard at our pricing architecture because we need to be, I think a competitor. We've developed the coffee category in China, and the good news for us is the Starbucks brand is held in high esteem. Our coffee is without a doubt the best you can get access to in China, and we employ, thousands of Chinese folks, and they do a terrific job for us. And I think smartly, we've looked at where is it on the menu that we need to be more competitive, and one of those places was like milk tea, which you referenced at this price. So we're going to get competitive on those products that we need to be competitive on. We're not going to go backwards on the quality or the commitment to coffee, because that's a category that's still growing. So what you saw us do here is, I think, just be smart about pricing architecture, and then at the same token, you'll see us continue to innovate with really fun, interesting flavors and textures and experiences.
Brian, you know this. Wall Street is unhappy with the stock. The stock flat year to date, flat since you took over a year ago, September. On your conference call, you recently said, you know what, earnings per share is not necessarily the best metric to judge our success by. Well, what is if not profits?
Well, look, ultimately, profits will dictate success. All my point is we're turning this business around. We got to clean up some things that have been done over the last couple of years, and then we also have to invest in the things that I know will grow this business in the future. And so all I was trying to say there is, look, the earnings right now don't represent what we are capable of earning in the future, and nor would I believe this business is capable of delivering in the future.
Well, let me give one stat. You have the best retention numbers of employees right now in the history of Starbucks. Starbucks was founded in 1971. So some of this is definitely working.
Yeah, look, this is what gives me confidence. Our partners have never been more engaged. Our turnover rates have never been lower. And look, if you walk around here and you ask people, what do you think about the Back to Starbucks strategy? You get a resounding, like, let's do this. Not a little bit, but let's do this in a big way.
Okay, Brian Niccol, brewing a big comeback, the Grande rebuild, and everybody in New York is asking, what's your favorite drink at Starbucks?
So, well, it's not just one. In the morning, I start off with an Americano with an extra shot, and then in the afternoon, I get 3 shots of espresso over ice with vanilla cold foam.
Oh, look at him. High maintenance.
Well,
great to have you.
know.
We'll be watching the stock. We'll be watching your developments, and the team here, very excited to be here. Thanks so much.